Imaginary other man, how you feeling?
How you doing? I'm good.
Good, brother. Appreciate you coming on the show.
Of course. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah,
I thought you guys were a scam at first.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I saw the email and I was like, nah. And I was like, this isn't real.
Do you get a lot of those?
Yeah, and they're always fake.
That's crazy.
And that's why I was like, I don't know. But you know what? I think you guys like reposted something on Instagram, and then I was like, oh, okay, they are real.
Yeah, what it was, I'm pretty sure for the song of the day, it was one of your tracks.
Yeah,
I tagged you.
But yeah, I thought it was a fucking scam.
That's so funny. So you really get people like that who try to come up and just interview or do whatever, and it's all just a scam?
Yes and no. I feel like it's like mainly like just like more the scam shit. Just like, hey, we want this, but just all you gotta do is pay us $1,000. I'm like, okay, I'm not doing that. But all right, cool.
That's crazy.
And then, yeah, from time to time, like, you know, people will want to interview me. I don't really, like, I do a lot of interviews, but I don't do a lot of interviews. I kind of, like, spread them out, like, very far. So if I do one now, I probably won't do one for at least, like, another 6 months or probably next year. You know what I mean?
Is that a part of your strategy? Just try to keep stuff a bit more low-key?
Yeah, kind of. You know, I feel like if I just like do a bunch of interviews, like say I just like do 3 interviews the same day, they come out around the same time. It's the same story that I'm just gonna be telling. So it's like whatever.
That's real because
I've as well just do one at a time.
Yeah, no, I got you. I mean, I've had other people that have interviewed say the same thing. It's like I've asked people before and I've got a response. It's like, oh, I just did an interview like a month ago. I don't really think I have that much to say. And, I mean, I can 100% respect that because it's like.
It gets boring after a while. It's
like,
you know, you get tired of telling the same story. It's like, everyone's heard this already.
Yeah, 100%. So, when you started rapping / producing, what came first? Was the production end or the rapping end?
I started rapping under a different name first, and then like, producing came... I've only been producing for about 5 or 6 years, and I've been rapping for about 11. So, yeah, rapping definitely came first for me.
Was learning production like a byproduct of you trying to rap? Like, where you're like, let me make my own beats?
No, I don't know. I kind of I wanted to learn how to make beats. I always wanted to learn how to make beats, but I only wanted to make beats. The only way I knew I wanted to make beats if they sounded like at the time, what was that, like 2009 like era and up, was like, I wanted my shit to sound like Flying Lotus and fucking like Toki Monster and you know, like DiBiase shit, like just these crazy ass sounds that I've like never heard before, and just like getting like indulging into this like this LA beat scene, even though I'm not from LA, but like I just knew what was going on over there, especially with the shit that they had going on with Boiler Room. So I always knew that I wanted to learn how to make beats. Sometime down the line, I just didn't know how I was gonna do it, and I wasn't like chasing it. It kind of just like came to me gradually, and then once I like got everything I needed, I kind of just like hit the ground running with it.
So was that process fully just self-taught, like where you're like, you know, like with just YouTube videos or what? How did kind of learning the production?
Well, software? It first started off with my homie Telly. We were in a crew together called TOS, right? And I mean, we're still in a crew together as TBC, is TOS TBC back in the day. But and I just asked him one day, and I was like, yo, you want to show me how to make beats? And he's like, nah, I can't show you. He's like, I can't teach you how to make beats, you know what I mean? He's like, I can teach you how to maneuver through a program, you know? So I was just like, well, I don't have no idea what the fuck this means, but whatever. But anyways, like, even when he would make beats, I would still, like, be behind him and just, like, tell him exactly what I want, so he knew, like, what the sound I was looking for. And I would just tell him how to do it. I just didn't know how to go through the whole program and, like, click that and, like, tap this and shit like that. So he taught me how to do all that. And then once I got, like, deeper into my own shit, I would say DiBiase helped me out a lot, especially with the SP404. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. So, I mean, so you start rapping, and then you get to the production aspect, and to me it seems like, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you've been making music all these years, it seems like the last, like, year or two, these past couple of years have been, like, especially eventful. Do you think there's something that really pushed you to start making more music these last couple of years, or are you just putting out more?
it's just a different name. You know, I feel like I exhausted. I feel like I exhausted like my rap shit. You know what I mean? Because I was like going so hard for so long, and like it's hard to do that, especially when motherfuckers aren't willing to listen like that. You know what I mean? For some, I had to figure out that motherfuckers would rather listen to people who make beats than motherfuckers who rap. Because everybody and their mom fucking raps. You know what I mean? And it's starting to get like that with the production too, but it's easier to set yourself apart with production because like that's a whole nother thing. Like everything like goes into that, like from the instruments you choose to use, the swing on your beat, the nuances that you do. Like rapping is just rapping. Everybody's done the same flow a million fucking times, you know what I mean? But no one cares, but it's always over a different beat, you know what I mean? So I figured that out really fast, and so I was just like, I'm just gonna go extra hard on these beats, and then also, you know, I have the character who is imaginary other, you know what I mean? I feel like people were way more intrigued by that than more than anything, so they were willing to listen more, because they were like, why the fuck does this dude have a paper bag on his head? Like, what the fuck he's gonna do? That happens to me every single show, and then I show up and I do my set, like a beat set, and they're fucking like jaws are hitting the floor. They don't know what to expect, you know what I mean? So that's cool. But I feel like once you step out there and you're just like in rap mode, everybody's like, oh, he's gonna be on some trap shit or some fucking lyrical shit. That's pretty much it these days. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so when you approach people and tell them you're a producer, did you think you get like a different reaction from when you told them you were a rapper? Like, do they ask more questions, or what's that like?
Yeah, actually, they do ask a lot more questions. I feel like people are like way more interested in that than if I tell somebody I rap. They're like, "Oh, that's what's up. My cousin raps." You know, it's just like, "What
and
up?"
My brother and my
yeah,
dad.
like you know, and then it's like, "Oh, word." And then once you're like somebody on some shit where it's like, "Oh, I make beats," you know, they'll be like, before they be like, you want to make something? And, you know, it's usually like, oh shit, like what do you use? And you know, you start to talk about like the software you're using, or the fucking the machines that you're using, from like, you know, like an MPC to a fucking or if you want to use Ableton, between machine and things like that, you know. So it goes into a deeper conversation than just like, oh yeah, I tap on the pads a lot, you know. Like whatever.
That makes a lot of sense. And
I feel there's more. I mean, there's more subject matter that can go into production. You know what I mean? It's like you can talk about all that, and then you can talk about samples. You can talk about who sampled what. You know what I mean? It goes just like way deeper.
I feel like too, as well as like you could probably relate to different kinds of people as well. Because there's probably more instrumentalists that can relate a bit more to somebody who, as a producer who makes beats, they probably relate a bit more to that than they do like a rapper.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Are you an instrumentalist yourself? Do you play any instruments?
I play. I used to know how to play the piano like classically, but I kind of fell off with that. So like now I just like kind of create my own melodies and go by ear. And then I play the drums for a while. I actually used to be in a punk band in fucking high school.
Okay.
Yeah, we were called the Pink Bunnies.
Where'd that come from?
You know what? Hella random. There was this Asian chick in my class, and she was like hella goth, and she like her hair would like come over her eyes, like perfectly under her eyes, so you couldn't see her at all. And she would hold her head down like this when she would talk to you, and no one talked to her at all. And like I was the only person that was cool with her in school, like, you know what I mean? And she was hella tight, but she would always be like doodling in the back of the class, and I'd see when we'd be talking, and she was like, hey, I think I was talking about my drums or something. She was like, hey, do you want to be in a punk band? And da-da-da-da. And she was like, this is the outfits that I want us to wear. And it was like suits, and I would have like a top hat with a fucking, and the top would be like cut out and bunny ears would flop over. So yeah, she did all that. She created all that shit. And like my whole freshman year, I was fucking just in a punk band.
Is that the kind of person you were in high school? Like, would you go out and kind of reach out to other people? Do you feel like that's kind of played into you building this character and stuff? It's kind of like reaching out to people like that?
I don't know, but I do know that I do recognize that, like, I have a easier time making friends with people who are very unassuming than I do with people who are just like, oh, yo, he's that dude. Like, I'm like, okay, and I'll walk the other way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't fucking care. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I usually like to just stay out the way. So, like, I like to play possum with people a lot, especially at shows. I'm very competitive. So if there's somebody on the bill, I want to give them a hard time. So I always want to go, like, kind of mid. So if it's like, I'll let 3 people go ahead of me just to see what they do, and if there's more people behind me, I want to make it hard for them after I go on. So I want to shut those first 3 performers out, and then make it hard for the next. You know what I mean? And yeah.
It's a really interesting way to go about that. I can appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a thing because, like, so, all right, you guys go to shows.
Yeah.
You know how, like, when everyone's like oh, that's him, you know what I mean, dude? And you know how some motherfuckers, like, they feed into that way more. They're like, yeah, you know.
It's an ego boost.
I'm that dude, whatever the fuck. Or they just, like, completely ignore niggas or whatever. You know what I mean? I just go in. And if I'm not even seen, that's cool with me. You know what I mean? And if I am seen, a lot of people will most likely, like, not even know who I am, period, because I'll usually have my mask off, unless it requires me to have my mask on. Then they're really, like, paying attention to me, but I'm still just, like, I'm not, like, mingling and stuff like that, because I want to get you in, like, what is he here for? What is he going to do? Like, is he performing? You know what I mean? What kind of music are you going to do? So no one expects anything.
It creates a conversation.
Exactly.
What situations require you to have your mask on?
Just, like, you know, beat shows and shit like that. Like, when, you know, I get booked twice, so it's like I'm either rapping or doing beats.
That's dope, though. That you kind of have both of those aspects.
Exactly. And it's super cool, especially in Sacramento. Like I have homies that don't even know this is me. That shit's funny to me.
That's actually cool. It's almost like living a double life.
Yeah.
On that Hannah Montana shit.
Double life. Yeah, it really is.
That's crazy. So are you doing this full time at this point?
I was, but right now, right now I'm just, I guess, like, I'm just kind of, like, coasting right now, you know. So yeah.
Was that hard when you kind of lost that ability to play shows? Was that a bit harder to then make this your full-time thing?
Kind of, but not really, because perfect timing. Me and my cousin, we dropped the album Stem of a Shroom, and that surprisingly did really well. So it wasn't that bad.
So Chewy's your cousin?
Yes.
That's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering how you met him, because he's another one of those rappers that I feel like is very in this sax scene. Like, to me, recently, I don't know. I mean, you said you lived here for a long time, so I'm sure you know better than I have. But it seems like, to me, there's a lot of rappers out of Sac, and just hip hop right now in general from Sac kind of going crazy. You have like Zaybang and like Lil Bean, and then people like even like Mozzie a couple years ago out of Sac. Like, has that inspired you at all? Seeing all those names come out of Sacramento?
I can't really get into the politics on that one. So.
No, I got you.
But yeah, it's cool to see motherfuckers, like, come up, like, especially like people like my little brother Nate Curry. Like, he's doing his fucking thing right now. He's going crazy, and then it's a lot of people out here that are, like, doing their thing, man. And I've always since I've been doing it for so long, it's, like, cool to see, like, every single year it's new faces. You know what I mean? I've seen so many motherfuckers come and go. Like, motherfuckers who were like, oh, I'm on this rap shit, I'm about to do this, da-da-da-da, I'm the man right now, da-da-da, gone. Within a year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're like, they end up having a baby. They think their fucking life is over, or they gotta get a real job, and they think their life is over, and you know what I mean? Just real life shit starts hitting them, and it's like, yo, you know you can handle real life shit and still do this, right, man? This is therapy. It doesn't have to be like you're just making music just so you can be the man at the fucking shows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
That's
a lot of
crazy,
people, like I've seen so many motherfuckers come and go. Like I'm literally talking about come and go. Like I don't even see these niggas no more. Like at all. Like no one even talks about them. Like I don't even know if these people are still alive. You know what I mean? That's how fast they come and go. And I'm like, they just disappear one day. And I'm like, all right.
It just shows that riding the wave isn't always.
That's not it.
It's not the way to go.
It's not it. See, it's a difference to ride the wave when you're like in that commercial world. And you're, you know, like, we see it all the time, you know what I mean? Motherfuckers, they come and they go.
Yeah.
But when you're, like, doing that in, like, a local scene, it's a little different.
I'm sure it is.
And it seems like, especially in your case, you've been doing this so long, you've probably learned how to, like, balance the work life and then the music life.
Oh, not at all. I mean, I'm still
stuff.
trying to figure it out, but I know for damn sure that I love making music, and I'm not
yeah.
going to stop this shit for nobody. You know what I mean? I mean, trust me, there's been a few times where I've been like, yo, I'm probably going to stop doing this, doing that. But you know what? When I did say I was going to stop rapping, I actually did stop rapping. And I started making beats.
Transition.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't fucking written a rap in almost 2 years now. Like, I was serious about that. Like taking a break, like, just for my mental was important to me. Like, I needed that shit.
Would you say rapping didn't make you happy anymore?
Yes and no. It's because the way that I rap is like so truthful. It's a little hard a lot. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I'm basically cutting my arm off and giving it to people, and they're kind of just like, they're either like yay or eh. You know what I mean? And it's just like they got so much to say about my fucking arm. You know what I mean? But I just gave it to you, and you're just like, oh well, I would do. You know what I mean? It's like. That shit, like, really irritates me, and especially when people, like, when I make things so obvious but they don't get it, like, irritates the fuck out of me, too. It's like, oh, like, I would have said it like this, or you don't fucking rap, so...
Yeah, everyone's a critic.
Like,
right?
You know what I mean? Yeah, like, what the fuck? Like, I guess.
Do you have trouble with that, facing people criticizing your music or saying shit about that, or are you good at tuning
I
it out?
used to when I was, like, younger, hell fucking yeah. I used to get at motherfuckers so crazy. But now I'm just like I don't even really talk to people anymore.
Would you say that's a positive step in your life, or if you
Oh
viewed
hell
it
yeah!
that way?
I used to be a fucking nuisance when I was like, when I was fucking first starting rapping. Man, I was a fucking tyrant. Like I'm telling you, I used to just cause trouble just to cause it, like, and just like fight my way out of it. Like I just do that shit on purpose, like. And that was fucking terrible. It was terrible to fucking, you know, live like that. And it took me a minute to fucking actually realize that shit, but I'm glad I, you know, caught on sooner than later.
That makes a lot of sense. Is there anything else you've, like, learned over all these years of making music, like from when you first started, the kind of, like, big overarching things that have affected your life in that way?
I learned how to, like, put out music. And what I mean by that is, like, before, I would just, like, it was just, like, here's an album, or a mixtape, or whatever, and it was just, like, I wouldn't even be getting, like, much feedback like that, you know what I mean, but, it was a lot of feedback, because I had so many projects at once, and then, like, now I'm very choosy on how I fucking, like, want to release it, you know what I mean, it takes more time, like the Imaginary Friendship, the first album that we did was the Hollow Bastion one. We did that shit in one day. It took 2 days. So we made the beats and wrote the songs and recorded them that one day and then released it the next day. And then that was pretty much just like a test. And then so when we did The Tip of the Tab, most of those songs were like already like 3 years old, and then like Stem of a Shroom, we have songs on there that are like fucking like 5 years old. You know what I mean? Some album, like I'm working on a few albums that I've been working on for like 5 years. You know what I mean? Like just trying to Like, and I'm not even. It's not even to the point where I'm like, oh, I'm trying to be a perfectionist. It's just like when I feel like it's ready, it's ready. You know what I mean? I'm not like over here like tweaking everything and like, oh my god, I'm obsessing over the sound. You know what I mean? It's not that deep.
That's something else I noticed. I felt like when, just when I was exploring like the catalog and just the stuff that you do have on streaming platforms, because it's very obvious there's probably a ton of stuff you don't have on streaming platforms.
Yeah.
But from the stuff you do have released, it seems from an outside perspective, you're a little bit choosy with the rappers you work with. Like you aren't really when you're behind the keyboard, when you're producing, you're not really dropping tons of singles with rappers. Are you kind of picky on who you want to work with? Is there a relationship you have to have?
Very. I don't like everybody. And I always tell motherfuckers when they wanna either rap with me or rap over my beats. I'm like, okay, that's gonna be a while because I don't know you. You know what I mean? Like I can't make music with motherfuckers I don't know. Like, so we gotta like be cool or something. We have to become friends so that when we get into the studio, it'll be a lot easier for me to just create. Like I don't like feeling forced to just create something just because you make music and I make music and let's make music. Like, no, that's not how that shit works. I don't like that shit at all.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I fucking hate it. And then on top of that, like all the rappers that I mess with are like people that I've came up with, like people that are in my crew, TBC. You know what I mean? Like me, Chewy, so Abstract Ninja, Chewy, Deceased, Telepath. You'll always see those names a lot in like my songs, like anytime, because those are all like those are the people that I came up with. I will never not work with them, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. From an album standpoint, does it feel easier to sit down and make an album with a rapper opposed to dropping like just one song with them?
To be honest, I'd rather drop one song with people because I don't know. Sometimes people get on my nerves with their albums.
Yeah.
And like they have like all these ideas, and I'm just like, all right, bro. Like, I'm gonna just give you these beats, and I'm just gonna step back. Like, you know what I mean?
So
and then because once I stop feeling like it's a collaboration album, that's when I pull out. You know what I mean? I'm like, you know, there's a few motherfuckers who have dropped albums under my name. You haven't seen me really say anything about it. Because, you know, like, but there's a lot of motherfuckers who don't know how to upload their music onto Spotify and, like, Apple and shit. How to properly tag another artist. They don't know about the fucking BMI and shit like that, you know what I mean? So it's like, I'm just gonna chalk that up to the game, you know what I mean? I already got paid for it, so whatever, like, you know, like,
it is what it is.
wish you the luck, you know, best of luck. But those are also motherfuckers who, like I say again, and like, you know, people will see this and like think I'm talking shit about them, and I hope they realize I am. But these niggas, like, they'll just be on some shit. It just doesn't feel real to me. You know what I mean? It just feels more like oh, you're popping, and like I want to get a beat from you, so I'll pay you this, and I'm like, yeah, that's cool. And don't get me wrong, I appreciate it, and I love like the love that you're giving, but it just doesn't feel real to me. You know what I mean? That's why like I just stay to me and my people, like Chewy, Deceased, Telepath. You know what I mean? That's the way
to do it, man. I feel like that's a lot better, because then you know everything. Another thing with that, I feel like as a producer, it's really easy for rappers to go and take advantage of you.
Oh yeah.
I feel like with the way you're doing it, you're sitting down and making a project with somebody who you know rocks with you.
Yeah.
You know it's a mutual relationship.
Exactly. And it's just like, you know, and these are people that have, like, we've created the sounds together. You know what I mean? We've, like, the whole styles and like all the shit. Like we kept that in-house for us and us only, you know what I mean? And that's why I feel like people are even more intrigued by it, because it's like I don't know how deep I can go into the word different, but it is different, you know?
I think it's different too. How'd you meet your homie Deceased? Is that, because I know you said Chewy was your cousin.
Yeah. Well, fucking, I didn't know Chewy was my cousin the first time I met Chewy.
What? How'd that happen? That's crazy. What? Go into that. How did that happen?
Well, fucking, so just like how I met Deceased, me and Deceased went to high school together, but we weren't friends. We just went to high school together. Like we saw each other like around and stuff. You know what I mean? But we didn't kick it like that or anything. But I met Chewy's girl in high school when I was a freshman. So I've known her longer than I've known him. So like I told you guys earlier, I used to get in trouble and I got sent to San Jose a couple of times.
Yeah.
So I went to San Jose one time and I came back and I remember I was sitting at the bus stop and then she like passed by and saw me and she stopped. She was like, yo, blah, blah, blah. And then I think that's when I was like first starting to like kind of like write and like, you know, get some shit down or whatever. And like I hop in the car with her, you know, we're just like catching up, and she was like, oh yeah, I date this dude, he goes by Chewy. I was like, oh dope. He's like, he raps, you should listen to his shit. So I'm listening to it. The first song I heard was 6 Feet Deep. It was the Lee Bannon and Chewy shit that they did, and that shit blew my mind. I was like, I just remember taking off my headphones and just being like, yo, there's motherfuckers that rap like this out here. Like, you know what I mean? I was tripping. I was like, God damn, this is fire. So, me and him ended up meeting. We was just like kicking it a lot. I remember I asked him if I could be down with TUS, and I spit for him and shit. And then after that, it was cool. And then we were just kicking it like all the time after that. And I remember he had his first headlining concert at Soul Collective. And then our moms came. This is how we found out.
That's crazy.
Our moms came. So I went to the bathroom, and the story goes that my mom pulled him to the side and was like, yo, what's your mom's name? And he was like, Red. She was like, nigga, that's my cousin. And then I hopped out the bathroom. I came back. He's like, yo, we're cousins. I was like, what the fuck?
It's probably such a surreal moment.
It's a trip.
Yeah,
what a
dude.
small world.
So that's how it started. And then ever since then, we just been going fucking hard. Yeah, we found that out in like 2010.
That's real, man. That's wild. So you guys have both been
11 years now.
on that shit, just making music together for that long.
Yeah, definitely. Like non-stop too, non-stop. And we've like changed and like grew up a lot. And so it was cool. But yeah, same with Deceased though. Like me and Deceased, we went to high school, and then we had like a mutual friend between us, and I didn't know he was rapping until the homie told me, and then he introduced me to him, and then I was like we were just like fucking with each other for a little bit, like, and I would record at his house, and then I just remember asking him, I was like, yo, are you trying to get down with TUS TBC? He's like, no. And I was like, okay. And then like the next day I came, and I remember I spit this verse for this song I did called Negatrons, and I wanted him on it. And then so I did my verse, and he was like, yo, does everybody on TUS rap like that? And I was like, no, but if you mean it's tight, then yeah. But yeah, so that's how we've just been rocking ever since then too. So that was like 2011 with me and him.
How'd you originally get tapped in with everybody at TUS?
Chewy.
Okay, just
yeah,
through
Chewy
him?
fucking. So I already had my own crew. It was TDC, and it was like before it was just like a bunch of just like rowdy ass kids, like, and then I turned it into some rap shit. So I kind of just like built off of it. So I had Telepath and my homie Conquest. They were already in TUS, but like later they ended up joining TBC. So it was me, Deceased, Telepath, and Conquest, and sometimes Chewy. So Chewy was always like the sometimes, and then he was like the Busta Rhymes to the fucking Tribe Called Quest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, type shit. And then Chewy introduced me to like everybody else in fucking TUS. Was like people like Jay Good, Keno, who else was in TUS? Damn, that sucks. I can't even remember. This is hella long ago. But my nigga Has Solo, he's super tight. He's out in LA. He's still like, he's doing his beat tapes and shit right now. He's fucking ill. He's dope. Y'all gotta check him out. But yeah, so I met all them, and then fucking like, then we like started fucking with like people like Nate Curry, you know what I mean? I always say like Nate and Chewy are always like honorary fucking TBC members, you know what I mean? Like, so those are my peoples. But yeah, I met everybody through Chewy.
That's real. So once you met Chewy and you met all those people and kind of got tapped in with that scene, how long after did you guys start doing the IF stuff?
After the first time I had him try acid with me. Yeah, so that was what the tip of the tab was about. You know, he was going through some shit, and I had a studio behind, because I used to own a store called The Front Room, and we used to have like 2 full studios in the back. So I was in one of the studios, and he came out, and my homie just had some, like, he had a vial of some like really good acid, so he just got some Sour Patch Kids, and he double dosed us real quick. You know, at first he didn't really want to do it, and I was like, come on, man, like we'll chill in here and just like make music the whole time, like don't trip. He's like, all right, fuck it. So, you know, we got it, grabbed it, fucking went back to the studio, and we stayed there all day, and we created that album. We weren't even imaginary friends yet. It was just like Chewy X Imaginary Other, you know what I mean? Because we didn't know what the fuck we were doing at that point, you know?
So was that album front to back just kind of a story, that trip? Because that comes through, like, in that project.
Yeah, definitely. So it was a lot of shit that we talked about. There was a lot of shit that he wanted to talk about, you know what I mean? And, like, that album was, like, perfect for that. Because there are a few songs on Stem of a Shroom that were supposed to be on Tip of a Tab.
Okay.
Like, so those songs are like dumbass old. They're like 5 years old. You know what I mean? So once they came out, it was like perfect. The only reason why we didn't put them on Tip of a Tab was because they were so dope to us. We were just like, this sounds like a part 2. You know. So we already had the second album like done once we did the first album.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Are psychedelics a big influence on your creative process at large?
Say that again?
I said, are psychedelics like a big influence on your creative process at large?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely I would say that because like I created this like world already. So like my rap name and my production name, like these are characters that I like, you know what I mean? I'm just the vessel to help put that shit out to the world, but they have stories, you know what I mean? And they both coincide. And I did that shit like a long time ago. When I first started rapping, I created a fucking an entire story for the name Abstract Ninja. And after that, I fucking, you know, created Imaginary Other. And so I just made sure that like my whole world like coincided with that. But psychedelics for sure play a big part. Even when I'm not even on psychedelics, like I try to make like some real like trippy type music, whatever sound, you know what I mean? Just whatever I can do to just like pay homage to like just expanding your brain, you know what I mean? And just not staying in a box.
So when you're creating these
music, I think, like do your samples.
Yeah.
Like the samples you pick are very. I don't know about like I don't know how much sauce you want to give away.
Right.
The whole like production.
Oh no, I give away all the sauce.
But
because people gotta execute it first. You know what I mean?
True. But I hear the sample first when I hear your beats.
Right.
I feel like that's a very main component to your sound.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Would you say that's the first thing you pick when creating a beat, or walk us through how that is?
Yeah, so I'll like just dig for samples like all the time, and it fucking takes up like so much time too. So I'll usually just dedicate a day of me just like digging for samples, and then the next day I'll just go through like everything and see, you know what I mean? Like I'm not like, don't get me wrong, I'm not the craziest with like. Right now I'm still in my looping stages. I just now started getting into like chopping the whole beat up and shit like that, you know what I mean? I'm getting a little better at that. But one thing Madlib taught me and MF Doom, they taught me that like you always want to have those rare ass samples, you know what I mean? Like I can guarantee at least like 90% of the shit that I sample no one's gonna fucking know what it is.
Can I tell you one that I found and it blew my mind?
What?
Mindfulness, is that a Hayoku sample?
Oh, wait.
They're a Korean indie band, and I don't know anybody else who knows them.
That's crazy.
And that blew
my...
It said it was Wing Wing, right?
Yeah.
I heard that shit. Blew my mind. I've never heard of anybody else who knows that band. I was like, that is really on some Madlib shit.
Trust me. I stay on my Korean and Japanese fucking pop and jazz and funk and soul. Like, they have a whole nother beast out there. Like, especially their golden era was like 60 to 80. Crazy. Like,
so many crazy instrumentals.
Anything from 1960 to 1980 is fucking insane from Japan, Korea, or wherever else. You know what I mean?
How'd you get into all that music? Was it through samples hunting or what?
I got into that. I don't know. I just like good music.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So what I would do was I would just like fucking like just go on and like pick a region of the world and put jazz behind it. You know what I mean? So I would just be like Brazilian jazz, you know what I mean? African jazz, and you know what I mean? And like if I wasn't at the record store, I would just, you know, do that shit on YouTube and then just like look at everything, like literally everything. I'm talking about I got like 30 plus fucking windows open. Like I'm really searching. I'm not letting anything go unlistened, you know? Like I said, it takes hours and hours and hours to listen to an entire song. There's a lot of samples that, like, there's, like, 4 or 5 seconds, just one, like, towards the end of it that is totally different. And I would have never fucking found that if I didn't listen to the whole fucking thing, you know? And those are, like, some of the, like, the dope ones. Like, what is that song called? Pulp Fiction on Tip of a Tab.
That was the orange one.
Yeah, that was like literally just a random thing that happened in the song, and they never did it again. And I was like, wait, what the fuck? And I went back and I was like, oh my god. Yeah, dude, it was like 5 seconds long. I was like, cool.
That's so wild to me. What I love too about that and like deep cut samples, I'm just a sucker for crazy samples, and I think the reason is like it's so true to like the origins of hip hop. Just like how these DJs would go and start digging the crates, and they would go and try to find this like deep cut vinyl from like super strange and like just totally random projects and bands and stuff like that, and then just incorporate that into their music in the weirdest way. I think it's such like a callback to just how hip hop started.
Right.
Which I think is so dope. Are you into grunge or punk music at all too? Because I know you sample a lot of Nirvana and stuff.
My two favorite fucking genres are punk and jazz. So, cause that's just how I grew up. I didn't grow up on hip hop. My pops was listening to. He was a record collector, so he would have like walls full of records. But he was like oldies to the fucking death of them. You know what I mean? Or because he was also a gangbanger, or so it'll be like that overly fucking like gangsta ass music. You know, I'm about to shoot a nigga, like all, you know what I mean? And I'm running around the corner, you know, shit like that. Like that's the type of shit he was on. So if he was ever gonna listen to rap, it was gonna be from like some rapper that was like, you were like, who the fuck is this? You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is my homie from down the street.
Exactly. And then but other than that, he was always into. He would show me like the straight oldie shit, you know. But like even like the deep cuts, like past the Commodores and shit like that. And then he loved reggae too, so I got a lot of my reggae sound from that as well. And then my mom's, she was into punk, she was into hip hop, gospel music. She liked her oldies. She loved like fucking Betty Wright and fucking Aretha Franklin. I remember them a lot growing up. What else is she? She loved Prince, fucking Michael Jackson, you know, shit like that. So yeah, but I ended up growing up listening to a lot of punk and jazz. Because when I would go down to the Bay Area to go visit my dad's side of the family.
Shout out the Bay.
You know, it's a lot of my aunties only listen to the Quiet Storm out there. So once I got out there, I knew I was in the Bay Area. Like once I would hear the Quiet Storm, and then they start playing Smooth Operator. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, now I'm in the Bay. Like, and you start seeing the water and Sade's playing. It's a smooth scene. But yeah, I love punk music. My all-time favorite punk band is the Germs.
Okay.
Yeah.
I never heard of them, but it sounds cool.
Man, amazing fucking band. I'll tell you that much. The first ones to get a fucking record pressed up in LA history.
Really?
Yep. And it was produced by Joan Jett after the Runaways.
That makes sense talking about that from the Bay, because the East Bay punk scene is crazy. It kind of reminds me like how you were saying when you met Chewy, you knew that like you didn't know there was this huge hip hop scene tapped in Sacramento, and that was kind of me when I really got into Bay Area music, being from the Bay.
Right.
I remember like when I was in middle school, like the very beginning of high school, I started like learning about all these local bands. And I'm like, damn, they live 20 minutes away from me and they're making this.
Exactly.
And it was just blowing my mind. And the local, I don't know. To me, it's like the locality of it's always been really cool.
Yeah.
So when you're looking for these samples and you're searching and trying to find these cool like abstract deep samples, is that a process that usually takes place in your room or the studio, or where are you doing that mostly?
I mean, I just have my room set up like I got my monitors and shit. It's just like that's just my safe haven for just my anything creative I want to do. So that's where I just like sit and I'll just like game and I'll just go through all the shit, you know what I mean? Like whatever hits my ear is just like you can't deny it. Like once you know, you know.
So do you record the majority of stuff in your room too?
No, I go to the homie's house to record.
And he's got a studio?
Yeah. So he's been recording me for like I'd say about like 8 or 9 years. So yeah, I've never recorded with anyone else.
That's cool. That's real. I want to ask about your beat tapes a little bit. So those 2 beat tapes that are out on streaming platforms. Was there a specific creative direction you want to take those in, or was it really just supposed to be a big snapshot of a bunch of different beats you've done?
Love Beaches and Plains was my baby. That was I think I was still staying with my mom, but I was like in the transition of leaving, and it was around Christmas time. It was either shit. See, I'm thrown off by the time because there was a Christmas tree there. But black people, it's fucking the Christmas tree in December and the Black History tree after December. So it's the Black History Month tree after that. So I don't remember which one it was, but I just remember sitting in front of a fucking Christmas tree and I had my laptop. It was a crappy ass laptop too. And then this is before I got my new machine. That shit was like fucking broken. I used to have to like wrap the cord around just so it'll fucking work. And and then fucking I just remember I knew exactly what I wanted with the sound when I chose the title of Love Beaches and Plains. It was exactly that sound. I wanted, like, I have a song on there called actually I forget what it's called. But I think it was I called it in parentheses. It was called Funny Valentine, and it was a Chet Baker sample.
Okay.
It's like one of the like normal ones that everyone else samples, but I was just like, that's what really kicked off with the love, and then the beaches part. I was learning at that point how to make lounge music. I was getting really deep into lounge music. And,
how'd you get into that?
It just sounds tight.
Yeah.
I love like, and so it got into the whole, okay, so how it went was starting with the Brazilian jazz. You go to Brazilian jazz, then you got bossa nova, and then lounge, and then like American lounge music is super cool, but once you start going to like other places around the world to listen to their lounge, especially Brazil, insane, fucking insane, you know what I mean? And I fell in love with that sound like right away. So like that's why there's a lot of beats in there that sound that are very loungy and sound like they should be played at the beach and things like that, you know what I mean? And the Plains part just came from like a lot of the stuff that I was, since it was lounge music, a lot of lounge music, they if you watch any of the videos, they have they coincide with the Pan America Airlines from back in the day. So I just called it Love Beaches and Plains, and then I made sure I studied everything that was lounge, like, you know what I mean? I went really deep into it to like figure out tempos, like instruments, like what makes it lounge, you know what I mean? Who's the top dudes in lounge music, you know what I mean? Especially bossa nova shit. And yeah, so that's the sound. That's exactly the sound that I was like going for.
Was that part of the inspiration for the Hawaiian Button Up? Like, well, like, is that a lounge song, right?
Yeah, so that's a sample. I forget her name, but the song is like Female Animal. Mm-hmm. And so I was listening to. I just used to bump that shit just like for fun. I never thought about sampling. And then when that came, and then once I decided to start getting into the fucking lounge shit, I was like, oh, I should do this. Yeah.
One thing I love about that song is that, like, on the project it's so embedded, like, in beats, because there's, like, all these beats that come before it, and it almost sounds like it's, like, all these beats lead up to this one track with vocals, since it's, like, the first one there.
Yep.
And that was, I don't know, I found that pretty interesting.
Yeah, dude, I love that project. That it came out a lot better than I thought it would. That's for
dope,
sure.
That's real.
And for it to be my first beat tape ever, like, I'm very proud of it.
Is that something else you want to do in the future? Put out more beat tapes?
Yeah, hell yeah. I just don't. Right now, I'm just like, I'm trying to like get all these like raps off. Not my rap. Well, my raps and like other people's shit off. You know what I mean? And just like so I can just like focus just solely on me. You know. But I gotta figure out titles. If I can't come up with good titles for fucking for the beats, then I hate that.
I hear from a lot of artists that struggle with titles.
Yeah, like even with the whole Love Beaches and Plains shit, like that tells a story. Yeah. Each title tells a story. Yeah. And then same with if you listen to Christiana, that one's named after my daughter. Okay. And it's an acronym. Each name is an acronym for imagination. Yeah.
I did not realize that.
Yeah, because my tag is imagination. Yeah. You know, so each name is an acronym for imagination.
You're blowing my mind right now. Didn't pick that up in the slightest.
I can see why you're so particular about your song titles.
Yeah. I mean, I just I just like to make it fun. Like I feel like if I'm gonna do it, like everything should be like a part of the music art package. You know, whatever. Yeah. But like with Love Beaches and Plains, I think the titles were what did he say? Like something the little boy in the room realized that the monster under his bed is real and it's screwing mommy. So that's the track list right there. It's just like that.
That's crazy to me.
And the monster is me. Yeah. So it was like. Yeah, I like doing fun shit like that.
Is there any inspiration you have for that, or is that something you've always wanted to do?
Always thought MF Doom had funny titles, especially like Odd Future too. Odd Future always had hella funny ass titles to me.
Is that era a big influence on you, like that Mad Villainy era with Outkast and everybody, like 90s, 2000s hip hop?
No, I like I said, I like punk rock and jazz. Okay. So like literally hip hop's probably like last on my list. You know what I mean? But don't get me wrong, like I do know my history for sure, like because I'm just a music head, period. But all-time favorite is like will forever be MF Doom. Oh yeah. Like forever, like that dude. Man, that dude is like the way his mind worked as an MC, and it's just like with the compound bar structures and rapping in third person and just like the whole entity of the villain. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's fucking insane. You know what I mean? There will never be another MF Doom. I think the only person that's kind of close to that is Earl.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a very good comparison.
Yeah.
I think that's true.
A lot of people make that comparison.
Yeah, Earl can rap his ass off. Like, he's super clever.
And it's weird because the way that people talk about, like, rapping technical ability isn't always what people think of when they think of, like, Earl Sweatshirt and MF Doom, but it's, like, the way they're able to just string together these cadences and just their rhyme schemes. It's a very different kind of, like, lyricism, but it's like incredibly more complicated than like somebody spitting a bunch of like words that rhyme.
Exactly. And also they take it out the norm of like having like a setup and a punchline like right after it. You know what I mean? It's like it's taking the doo-doo out of all of it. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, you know, like when Drake says something like, "You know I ball, chemo. That's a doots moment for me.
Yeah.
So
I can see that.
Yeah, but I mean, don't get me wrong. I fucking love Drake. He can rap his ass off too, but that line is just like, you know, everyone said it so much. You know what I mean?
It's the same thing, just different ways to say it.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Like, and motherfuckers gotta stop saying like, well, the I'm sick shit. That needs to die. Like, I'm sick, hospital, or some shit like, or I'm sick, leukemia, or like some crazy, like, I'm so sick, like okay,
or
we get it,
one too.
They need to kill that, and what's the other one? I get bucks like Milwaukee.
Oh my god.
They need to dead that one.
Hey,
dude.
but there are some rappers who I gotta respect with the NBA player bars. That like J. Cole, he pulls from like some weird ass NBA players that like nobody knows.
But do that, but kill the fucking Bucks Milwaukee one. Like I get bucks like Milwaukee. Like everybody has said that. Like Jesus, let that one die.
You seem like you're super into like all different kinds of music. Was there ever any intention after high school to like study anything musically or?
Fuck no. Yeah. I wanted to be a dancer.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I was like, I was hella heavy into the hyphy movement back then. Okay, so yeah. I was like a super mega fucking turf dancer out here, and like I thought I was just gonna fucking like be a choreographer and all this shit, and none of that shit worked out because I hated everybody who was fucking in the dance world because it was on some like popularity rah bullshit, and I was just like, all right, so I can either stay here and fuck y'all up and just continuously get in trouble, or I could just like walk the fuck away and do something else. So I chose that way.
That's cool. So was the next logical step like music?
Yeah, and it came randomly because I mean I've always been forced to rap. That's why I didn't like rapping that much. Like I had homies around me who would rap. My older brother, he rapped. He forced me to rap. Fucking hated it. I just thought it was fucking stupid. You know what I mean? It was just like I don't need to be a rapper. You know?
Everyone's already doing it. It seemed played out to you at the time, right?
What'd you say?
It just seemed like played out to you at the time?
No, I'm not played out. I'm just like, I don't need to rap. Like, this is like Ludacris just dropped word of mouth at that point. Okay. You know what I mean? I don't need to rap. Yeah, you know what I mean?
There's enough of this.
Doing his damn thing right now. But, yeah, I just thought that shit was stupid for me to be doing. And then, I don't fucking know. Like, I used to have a fucking, like, a different name. And then once I came up with the name Abstract Ninja, like, I don't know what happened. It kind of just clicked. And then that's when, oh, okay, that was the first time also, because I never really heard beats that I really wanted to rap over until I heard my first Flying Lotus beat and my first Sam I Am beat, and that shit, like, it went from me trying to write to a beat to the beat telling me what to say. So, like, it was pulling it out of me instead of me just, like, forcing just some rhymes on it. So, like, and I was, like, tripping. I was like, why the fuck is my brain, like going crazy right now? Just all this shit was just, like, pouring out of me. I was like, God damn. So, yeah, I just ended up taking it serious after that. Like, fuck it.
It's really obvious, though, that you've always been, like, into creativity. Like, in the
yeah,
creative
definitely.
stuff, it's like you got dancing, then you went to beat making and production and hip and whatever. Like, when did painting come in there? Well, you're a big painter, too, right?
Yeah. Well, painting's always been a part of, like, drawing and, like, I used to do ceramics and shit.
Just being
like,
creative.
Yeah, I was just, like, I just love art. Like, ceramics was my shit. Painting came from, because I used to be a graffiti artist.
Okay.
So, you know, I got in trouble for that. And then, you know, I started hitting the canvases after that, like, fuck it. And then, so yeah, I just got deeper into it with the canvases and shit. And, like, yeah, I have like a bunch of friends who paint. So, like, when I meet up with them, like, we'll have, like, a little paint dates or whatever the fuck, you know. So, yeah, painting's always been a part of my life. But the thing is about painting is, like, I don't really like, sometimes I don't like telling people or showing people. Because people will be like, oh, can you do this for me? And I'm like, no. And they take it the wrong way. I'm like, dude, I don't like I don't do this to like be giving shit away. Like I don't feel like painting. Like I paint when I really want to. Like there's a purpose behind this shit. Like I still have like 3 paintings in my room that I haven't worked on in like 5 years. You know what I mean? Like it's just a thing that I just like to do from time to time. It's not like I didn't want to go pro in painting. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Is that how you feel about video games too? Because it's pretty obvious. Well, it's not obvious, but I wanted to ask.
Right.
Do you play a lot of video games? It seems like a lot of your beats you're sampling, like for example, with the Galaga beat.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like video game sounding esque stuff or samples.
Yes. I sample a lot of fucking like the Black Galaga one, the fucking the Prayers to a Slab.
What's that from?
That's a Final Fantasy X fucking song. I made that one in my dreams, and then I made it.
Wow.
It was crazy. It took me a long time to figure out how to sample that, which is crazy to say because if you hear it, it sounds pretty simple. Like it's just like a simple little loop. But for some reason, I don't know why I couldn't figure out how to fucking like make it sound good. You know what I mean? And I almost gave up on that beat. And then one night I was playing Final Fantasy on my Switch, and until I fell asleep, and I just like put my Switch down and I fell asleep, and then I had a dream about me making that beat, and then as soon as I woke up, it was like 4 a.m, and I fucking like rushed over to the desk and like made it the way I heard it in my dreams, and it came out just like that. That shit's never happened to me, so I was like, what the fuck? Like it felt so real when I was making it in my dreams, like I thought I already had it. But then when I realized it was a dream, I was like, oh, hell no. Like, I know exactly what to do now.
That's cool.
And I was working on that shit for months, man. Like, I was really about to give up on that shit.
I've only heard of, like, one other instance of that. Like, one of my homies, I mean, he knows him, too, the homie Lance.
Mm-hmm.
He thought of a guitar riff and then pretty much same type of thing. He ran to record it after.
Yeah.
But that's such a interesting concept to me. It's like that really came to you in a dream.
That shit, it's a trip. That shit's never happened to me before. I've never like done shit like that. Like, and I've been making music for a long time. Like that's never happened to me before.
Wow, that's really cool though. Like, I don't know. I think that'd be such a trip. Like, just wake up and you're like, now I have this. Like, I went to sleep without it, and now it's here.
Dude, bro. Like once I heard exactly how I needed to do it in the dream, like I knew exactly what to do when I woke up. I was like, just straight to it.
That's wild.
And I laid that whole thing down in like 30 minutes, and then I went to sleep, and then worked on it some more. When I woke up, I was like, okay, like as long as I got like the perfect fucking loop for it, but then here, like I added like some just some regular drums real quick just to see how it would sound. I was like, perfect. All right, cool.
When you have creative ideas like that, do you like run to write them down? Do you jot them down in your phone? Like, do you ever get like bursts of creativity like that?
Beat shit I can remember. I just keep it in my brain. Raps I have like a little note thing that I keep in my phone, and I'll write like little one-liners that I don't want to forget or something. It's just like random shit. Like I just like not even meaning to, like I'm not trying to rap. You know what I mean? Sometimes the shit just pops in my head. I'm like, oh, that sounds tight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And save it for later.
No sick chemo bars though.
No sick chemo bars. No sick chemo bars.
and sick chemo bars.
Yeah.
No more sick chemo bars. At Drake.
Do you get a lot of inspiration from the media? Like, and by that I mean like movies or TV shows. But I kind of hear it a lot in your production.
I do. Movies and anything that has to do with the camera is kind of my obsessive pleasure, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I'm very obsessive about movies. This, I mean, the same way same way with like the music or like anything I like, I get very obsessive. But movies and TV shows are very, very, very close to my heart. Like that shit, like I'm talking about like my fucking comfort zone. Like, you know what I mean? It's like a hug, like a hug that,
an escape.
You know, no one else can give me. It's crazy the way that movies hit me in like certain ways. Like, I did this project like way, like probably like 2013. and I called it LOVE, and it was an ode to Ramona Flowers from Scott Pilgrim versus the World. And so what I did was I had the movie Scott Pilgrim versus the World, and what I did was I locked myself in the room for 2 weeks, and I only came down to like eat some noodles real quick, but I ate mushrooms every single day for those 2 weeks, and I only played Scott Pilgrim versus the World like on repeat, like nonstop, like every single day, like day night, like going to sleep to it, everything, waking up to it, pressing play, watching it over and over and over and over while I'm playing beats and just writing and looking at it. You know what I mean?
You were never like tired, because I've done shrooms before, and I just remember the homie played something on, I felt like repeat.
Right.
So I can only imagine you're literally.
Oh yeah,
doing
no,
it on
I
repeat.
I drove myself crazy, but it was a good crazy. Not I enjoyed it.
Was the intention to drive yourself crazy like that?
Yeah, and well, yes and no, cause like I do that with movies anyway. Like I'll like one time I just fucking like had Mrs. Doubtfire on, and like whether I was watching it or not, like I still just kept coming back and pressing play when it would end, I just to replay it. Like I'm the type of person. Okay, so if I see a movie, I'm the type of person that okay, I watch the movie for what it is, right?
Yeah.
And then second, I'll watch it for the dialogue. Third, I'll watch it for like the cinematography. Fourth, I'll watch it because I want to see what people are doing in the background. Fifth, I want to see like the colors and like really like how did the camera move from this scene to this scene? What, you know what I mean? I'm like that. I like to dissect every little tiny thing when it comes to a movie, just like I like to do with my music.
That makes a lot of sense.
So what about Ramona Flowers made you want to dedicate a whole album to her?
I don't know. She was just a fly woman. Did you see that movie?
She's fine, bro.
Yeah. She got the pink hair that fits there.
Yeah, she was a cool dame. But yeah, and also like I'm on like the shit that I rap about. I often bring it back to like girls and love because it's such like a big part of my life. So I never want to shy away from that. So me having an album called LOVE was important. And then, so I was just like, but who's it going to be dedicated to? And I was like, Ramona Flowers.
Oh,
it was easy.
There you go.
Only the finest woman in cinematography history.
Come on.
Hell yeah. Is that where a lot of your inspiration for your music videos come from, too? Because, like, they all seem very artful. Like, the Flyaway video, for example.
Yeah.
I've only seen, like, a handful of other, like, animated music videos. Like, I thought that was dope.
Thank you. Yeah,
dude.
The homie hit me with that shit, like, on some random shit. Like, he was just like, yo, can I make a video for this? I was like, sure. You know what I mean? But, like, shit that I shot myself, like, damn, what is that song called? The Soko Ono one. Soko Ono, Hawaiian Butt Nut was, like, probably my first video I did. Paris to a Slab. What else? What is that one? Did you see the one where Chewy was like on top of the car? And it was like,
I think was that the one where, if I'm thinking of the same one, was that the one where he?
I forget what the song is called though.
Is that the one where there was like him and there was the animation of him like splitting into like two other things, or maybe that was just a Chewy video.
Hold on, let me see. I don't remember what that song is called. That's gonna irritate me.
This is an example.
Chewing Gum.
Okay.
That's what it was called. Okay. Yeah, so we did that, and yeah, so this is like I've never shot videos before, I've never edited before, but so for those two, those are still like my first videos of ever this like shooting and fucking editing at the same time. So I'm still learning, you know what I mean, and I'm doing this on like a shitty camera, trying to make it look as good as possible.
Yeah.
But that's why I do so much on like in post, you know what I mean? Is because like I'm realizing like, yeah, okay, it's not the best camera, but like I can still give it like a cool aesthetic, you know? So
you bring a different take to it that someone else would.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like the homie Jesse taught me, like he explained that to me so many times. It's like,
yeah,
you can, there aren't very many cameras that'll look good out of the box.
Exactly.
It's like you can really make something look better, and he totally explained that to me, and
Oh yeah,
it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and it all really just comes down to what you want it to look like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't want to fucking use a fucking, like, if you really want some like really like VHS status as, you know, like film, like, I feel like it would be better to have like a straight camcorder, you know what I mean, and get that like that authentic feel from it, instead of just getting like having like a Canon and fucking then you gotta add in all this like all these effects just to make it look like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like to make it look old.
Yeah, just get a fucking camcorder.
Just make an old camera.
Yeah, do the real thing, man.
100%. So you've been making music like upwards of 10 years at this point. Do you feel like there was one huge turning point in your career where you're like, you know what, stuff started rolling the right direction?
The imaginary friendship.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Fucking Chewy threw me an alley-oop with that one, like, to be honest. Because I had no idea they were gonna do as good as as they did.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people, they really connected with that shit. Like, I didn't really I knew it was like dope as fuck to me, and I knew what we were doing, but like as far as like what people were gonna take from it, I had no idea. You know, like there's like people that hit me up about Tip of a Tab, and they're like, dude, this album saved my life. Like,
wow.
You know, like straight up saying like, dude, I was gonna kill myself, and you know, and it's a lot. I didn't know that it was gonna like hit people the way it did, because it's my first time like making beats, you know what I mean, and the first time I'm working with my cousin like that, like on a full length project, you know what I mean. So it's kind of just like, and he was like, he's already just like at this fucking height himself. So you know, I'm like, I'm either gonna make you some hot dog shit or this is gonna be special.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And luckily it came out special. So
that's inspiring to me, man, because it's like it really shows that. Like, you've been doing this for 10 plus years, and it took you that long to get to the point where you found something that you really think connects with people. And I think that's just, it's such a good example of just the fact that you just need to keep going.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, like, look at Freddie Gibbs.
Oh my god, great example.
Freddie Gibbs has been fucking rapping forever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Freddie Gibbs used to work at a mall.
Exactly. Like, and now he's like, he's fucking being Grammy nominated. You know what I mean?
Working with Madlib. Like,
yeah, dude. And, like, same thing with, like, fucking 2 Chainz. 2 Chainz was rapping forever. He used to be Titty Boy. Until he changed his name to 2 Chainz, that's when he, like, really, like, catapulted. You know what I mean?
Or even, like, DaBaby.
Yeah.
That fool rapped forever until he got anything that hit. It's like he used to make a fool of himself and literally stand in a diaper on street corners and pass out his mixtapes.
Exactly.
It's like it just shows you. Just
he's fucking crazy for that one.
Always going to provide.
Yeah.
It's always going to go more than anything else.
I was in LA last weekend talking about this with some homies, and one thing I said, I didn't even mean to say it, but it kind of just stuck with me. It was like, the day that you stop could be the day before you succeed.
Exactly.
It's like tomorrow could be the day where everything pops off, and if you stopped yesterday, that would have never happened, and all your work would have went to waste.
Exactly. Like, I knew I wanted to, like, kind of not rap that much anymore, and to be honest, if I didn't figure out how to produce, I probably wouldn't even be making music right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude.
That's crazy to me. Is there one thing you would tell somebody who wants to do what you do? Like, any advice you'd give them?
Study. Fucking become a student of the game. No one knows everything. You know what I mean? There's a whole lot of shit out there to learn. Even if you don't like it, like that's what I do as well. Like, I listen to a lot of people that I don't like, or shit doesn't connect with me, but I'm so intrigued I'm so intrigued with what other motherfuckers are talking about in their songs, or how the production sounds, like, what little weird little sonics are you using in your background, like some random noises and shit like that. Like, just study. You know what I mean? If motherfuckers really want to do this and, like, take it serious, fucking study. You know what I mean? Like,
consistency.
Like, you're talking to a dude who's never heard a Nas album front to back. You know what I mean? Like, and like as a rapper and motherfuckers who look at me as like this hip hop producer, they're just like what? Oh my god, what the fuck? Ah, you know what I mean? It's just like the buildings are tipping over and shit. And I'm like, dude, it's not that fucking serious, bro. Like, I didn't fucking grow up on hip hop. You know what I mean? I'm not really tripping off of it. You know what I mean? I'll probably laugh at you the same if you can't fucking tell me, oh, you never heard a fucking Germs album from the back? Ah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's stupid to fucking, make people feel like that. It's, hella dumb. Like, I don't have to listen to what you listen to. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I'm me because I haven't heard these things. And when I do listen to it, I'm sorry, it just doesn't connect with me on that level. I can't make it, you know what I mean? Just because it's a classic doesn't mean it's a classic for me. You know what I mean?
That's real, man.
So yeah, I would just say study.
Hell yeah. All right. Imaginary Other, folks. Appreciate you coming on, brother.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you
Appreciate
for
it,
having me, man. I appreciate it.
All right,
Appreciate
y'all.
you coming through.
Music matters.